The NBA playoffs have moved into the conference semifinals. Time for a brand new edition of Gimme the Hot Sauce. This is episode number 32. And I'll tell you what, guys, when you think about some great numbers in sports, wow, we got a classic list of guys who wore 32 during their careers. Let's start with basketball. One of the all-time great point guards, Magic Johnson. You got the mailman, Karl Malone. Shaq wore 32 when he broke in with the Orlando Magic. You got Kevin McHale. From football, the great Jim Brown, perhaps the greatest football player of all time. Marcus Allen, Franco Harris. From baseball, a couple of great left-handed pitchers, Sandy Koufax and Steve Carlton. And Dr. J, Julius Erving, wore 32 during his days with the New York Nets. So that's a pretty good list, Stace, wouldn't you say?
That's a lot of 32s out there. Stanley Wilson, the former University of Oklahoma great running back.
There you go.
Cincinnati Bengal running back that was in the Super Bowl that lost to the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, let's start out talking some hoops. Obviously, we're on to the conference semifinals, but LeBron James and Anthony Davis are not. They are in 1-2-3 Cancun. They got sent away pretty quickly. And of course, LeBron walked off the court. We talked about that in our last episode early when they lost in Game 5. But he said all the right things. He went out in a classy manner after they were eliminated in Game 6. Stacey, is it too simplistic to say that if Anthony Davis were healthy, the Lakers would be champions again, or were there more things wrong with that Lakers team?
There were more things wrong with that Laker team. You know, they got rid of some guys that I thought were big instrumental parts to them winning championships last year. Danny Green, a consistent outside shooter, very good defensive player. Dwight Howard, who came in off the bench, gave you rebounding and shot blocking. You replaced those guys with guys who, Drummond, Andre Drummond came in.
And Rondo was big for him last year.
And Rondo was big for him last year. So you replaced those guys with guys that were not really proven. Schroeder. Schroeder's up and down this year. He's supposed to be, here's a guy that turned down $84 million and didn't do anything for you in the playoffs. Had a horrible playoff series against Phoenix. Really, really bad. So I don't even know if they would have had a healthy Anthony Davis and a healthy LeBron if they could have won the championship. I just think there were so many holes in that team that I don't think they would have been able to get to the finals.
Anthony Davis, of course, tried to play after injuring his groin, and that was painful watching that 5-minute stint you had on the court. And you wonder, what did the training staff and the team doctors say to let him get out there? Obviously, he wanted to play, but boy, he was risking a very serious injury by going out there.
Well, it's the same thing that happened to Kevin Durant back when he was at Golden State. Had no business being out there, but got the pressure of fans and their fan base to get back out there, and he ends up, tearing his Achilles, And so the same situation with Anthony Davis. You've got a guy who's a superstar player. Everyone knows how important he is to that team, and without him, they have no shot. And the way they lost in Game 5, that proved if he's not in the lineup, they have no chance to win. So what does he do? He says, hey, I'm going to strap it up. I'm going to go out there and give it my best shot. And, it was supposed to be a game time decision. You probably could have realized before you even got him out there that he wasn't going to be able to go, And then once he was out there, he just was like, nah,
just street clothes.
Just street clothes. Street say you and Charles Barkley. You and Charles Barkley, street clothes Davis. That's really bad, man. But
well, that is the knock right now. I mean, he's been hurt a lot, even in his career with the Pelicans, and he had a series of injuries this year. When healthy, he's definitely a top 10 player in the league, but he just can't stay on the court. And obviously that's going to impact his ultimate legacy and when people are talking about the great big men in the game.
Well, I mean, maybe the Ruffles commercial was a curse, because you never saw, seriously, you never saw Anthony Davis doing any commercials and stuff like that. And maybe the Ruffles commercial was a curse. Maybe he should have focused more on, doing Pilates and hot rock yoga and got himself ready. Because listen, I've said this all along. Him and LeBron missed too many games this year.
Yeah.
There was no way in the world that they were going to come back, even if they would have come back healthy, that they would have had a rhythm going into the playoffs. Because in the playoffs, you got to be a well-oiled machine right now. Every part has to be ready to go. During the regular season, you can tinker and mess around with your lineups here and there, guys in and out lineup. But when it comes to playoff time, You have to have your roster set of your, 6 to 8 to 9 guys, and you have to have rhythm, and the Lakers never had that.
Well, it's interesting that both the Heat and the Lakers were eliminated in the first round, two teams that were in the bubble final last year. So maybe there was something about playing all those extra games and then the shortened off season. So
yeah, LeBron jumped on that excuse too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hey, you know, it's maybe rather legitimate, for a guy that's 37 years old and, like you said, didn't play a lot of games, and there's a reason. And the Heat as well, Jimmy Butler, they're out. They're out.
Listen, at the end of the day, the bubble should have an asterisk. Seriously, it should. It should. I know. You had to play the season. It was the bubble. Okay, but look at the teams that got out: the Lakers and Miami. Look at Tyler Hero. Look at Duncan Robinson for the Miami Heat. In the bubble, there's no pressure. Yeah. They can just play. Hero played so well that the Miami Heat refused to go get Harden because that kid played so well in the bubble. Yeah. So they refused to upgrade their roster with James Harden. Yeah. To keep Tyler here because, he's untradeable. You can trade anybody but him, you know? And his name, he should have been the first one gone. Yeah. And then what happens this year? You see him in the regular season. Now teams have a chance to prepare for him. Mm-hmm. The pressure of crowd noise and all this other stuff. Both him and Duncan Robinson still had a very good three-point shooting year. But when the games counted, you couldn't count on them. They were inconsistent.
Not like last year.
No, they were inconsistent.
Yeah. Duncan Robinson's going to get paid, though, in free agency. Everybody
needs a shooter.
Yeah. Bulls would love to have a guy like that.
We definitely could use a shooter. But every team now with the way the game is being played with the 3-point line and all the things that are going on with the game as far as the spacing is concerned, the pace, you need a guy that can knock down 3-point shots. You look at that Atlanta series with Philadelphia, okay? Atlanta came out the box knocking down threes. Yeah. And that set the tempo of the game. There was nothing Philadelphia could do. They could pound the ball 100 times to Embiid, who's not 100%.
He had 39.
He had 39. But that game, honestly, until it wasn't really close.
No.
At the end of the game, that young Atlanta Hawk team act like a high school team.
They start throwing
the ball over the place. They started getting trapped like they'd never seen a trap.
Yeah.
This is why, guys, I say teams who can implement that kind of style of play defensively during the regular season and then still carry it over to the playoffs are going to cause teams problems. If you watch an NBA game, and I watch a lot of NBA games, when you watch the NBA game, you see guards walking the ball up the floor. You see a Jokic walking the ball up the floor. There's no pressure, no duress, okay? Yep. When we played, Phil Jackson always would let our second group, because we were the young guys, he would let us go out there on our own without any calls or anything and go out there and trap, turn the tempo up and, recover to our man. We would trap the guard and force the guard to throw it back to the big man who took it out and then force him to bring the ball up the floor. And now we're pressuring him and making him turn 8-second count. He's not comfortable. And you saw that against Philadelphia. If more teams implemented that, I guarantee you would see different defensive structures.
Yeah, and you're pressuring the ball. Then when they do cross half court, they've only got 14 seconds to run their offense.
Cut their options
reduces
down.
Their options.
Yes,
no question about it.
Yes, and that was huge against Philadelphia. I think you'll see Philadelphia implement that the next time they play Atlanta.
Yeah,
start trapping the ball, get the ball out. I've always said that about Trae Young.
Ben Simmons probably on Trae Young more.
Well, and I've always said this about Trae Young. When you have a guard that's so dynamic that can create off the dribble, off the bounce, one screen, two screens, because he's getting a variety of different screens. He's getting two screens, he's getting one screen, and he is so good at that floater in the lane. Half the time you don't know if he's shooting it. It's like a pass. Sometimes he's passing it, and you're like, did he just shoot that or was that a pass? And all of a sudden you see Capella or Collins dunking the basketball. So you've got to trap him in a pick and roll situation. Trap him because he's so small. It's just like having a small quarterback in the NFL can't see over the line when the linemen get their hands up. Drew Brees early in his career, getting a lot of balls tipped at the line. It's the same thing in basketball. When you get a small guard like that who is so dynamic with the dribble, you trap him, and you saw it at the end of the game. He struggled trying to get the ball to people, and I that's how I would guard him. Anytime he came out pick and roll, I would trap him.
And since we're taping this week, and then obviously some point next week, what's your prediction on that series?
Pain.
Is that Clever Lang?
For the Sixers?
Is that Clever Lang?
pain. I'm gonna tell you right now. Listen,
I'll bury the fool.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you. I'll be honest with you. I was not surprised they went in there and beat them. The way they play is going to be tough for Philadelphia because you got a hobbled Embiid right now. If you notice in the first 3 quarters, they put him in a lot of pick and rolls. They got him outside the perimeter, got him outside away from the basket, and they attacked him on pick and rolls. They were able to get shots because the rotations weren't there. Now, I expect Philadelphia to make some adjustments as the series goes along. You can't put Danny Green on Trae Young. That
didn't work.
I mean, that's just like, Trae Young's looking at it like, oh, I'm licking my chops. Like, thank God Doc Rivers put this guy on me, because I thought he struggled against Thibault. I thought Thibault did a really good job defensive. Plus, he's younger. He's more, he's a younger Danny Green. He doesn't shoot the ball like Danny Green does. That's why Danny has to be out on the floor. Mm-hmm. But Danny didn't really take any shots last night because think about this. When you have to spend so much energy chasing Trae Young around, that's defense for the Hawks because now he doesn't have legs. He already had the energy, and he can't get his feet down because his legs are so tired because he's chasing Trae Young, a little water bug around. So you can see why he didn't miss.
I never thought Danny Green was a defensive stopper. I always thought he was a shooter.
Certainly not against point guards.
He's a good defensive player. Don't sleep.
All right,
he's just long in the tooth now. But before, when he was on the San Antonio Spurs teams, and he was a defensive stopper.
Okay.
Let's talk about the other series in the East. James Harden goes out in the first minute of Game 1 against Milwaukee with a strained hamstring. He's also going to be out for Game 2. We are taping this podcast on Monday afternoon. They're going to play later today. Milwaukee blew an opportunity to steal Game 1 because they had to adjust and for whatever reason they were 6 for 30 on 3-point shots, but that's Bud ball. They keep chucking them up, and if they would have gone inside like they did in the first quarter when Giannis and Brook Lopez were scoring, they probably would have won Game 1.
I'm so disappointed because first of all, Harden goes out the first 40-some seconds of the game. Yeah. Right there, everybody should got excited. Okay, sure. Now we've lost there because losing James Harden honestly is like losing 3 people because not only does he score, that he gets everybody else involved, and he's also a very good shooter. So you take him out the lineup. Now you got 2 superstars. So they lose one of the Avengers. So now you got 2. So it's much better to play against 2 than it is 3. Yeah. Okay. So what does Milwaukee do? Milwaukee, they're in the game. They're killing them on offensive glass. They're a bigger team.
Points in the paint.
Points in the paint. They're doing all the necessary things to win this first game on the road and get that first game, which you want to get out the guard. Right out the box, you want to get it. Then they start going back to, it's time to shoot threes.
Yeah.
The analytics says, analytics says we need to start shooting threes now. We're having so much success dominating points in the paint and attacking the glass. But hey, analytics said we need to shoot threes. Let's start shooting threes. What, 6 for 30 or something? What was it?
6 for 30.
Yeah. I say you fear the deer, though.
Yeah, Chris Middleton, 6 for 23. Bryn Forbes, 2 for 9.
Yep.
I think Holiday was 7 for 19. If you shoot the ball like that, it's going to be a long night.
The role players for both teams is
Mike James.
The role players,
not the Mike James who played for the Bulls.
Mike
like
James,
50 years old now.
No. But the role players are going to be the difference in this game, especially now if Harden is not 100%.
Blake Griffin, turn back the clock.
Blake Griffin, listen.
Come on.
Blake Griffin.
Can he do it again?
Maybe. Listen. Blake Griffin, first of all, he's from Oklahoma. So
right.
shout out to my man Blake. Blake.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have confidence in Blake, but I do, buddy. Okay? But you did turn back the clock the other day. That was you're diving on the floor. He's diving on the floor. When have you ever seen Blake Griffin dive on the floor? You know? But this is what he's come to now because he doesn't have the athleticism that he once had. So now he's down with the mortals. He came from Mount Olympus, and now he's living amongst the mortals because he lost his superpower.
He looked like an undrafted free agent trying to make the team.
But I tell you what, though. Even though he lost his superpowers and he's walking amongst mortals now, okay, he still has a high basketball IQ. He can pass the basketball. He made some nice passes.
He was good.
They had the nerve to double team him at the 3-point line. I'm like, why would you Why would you double team Blake Griffin at the 3-point line? Because he hit a couple of threes. Yeah. So what? Let him shoot that. Yeah. You're running 2 people out. He's such a good passer. Oh, there's somebody underneath the basket. Whoop, hit him. Lay up. Brown. What does Brown do for you? Just gets jumped around the basket. So I was really disappointed in Milwaukee. And then late in the game, it was kind of like same old Milwaukee the last 5 or 6 years. Give the ball to Giannis. Esco ISO.
Top of the key.
Everybody spread out.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
But it doesn't work anymore, especially when you don't have guys making shots.
Right.
If guys are not making shots, the other team's basically hey, let them shoot.
Yeah.
Let Forbes shoot. He ain't hit one all night.
Yeah.
And if he hits one, so be it. Let Middleton shoot. He's not hitting anything.
Everybody played except for DeAndre Jordan. That's incredible.
He's out of the rotation.
But I mean, compared to the
they used the kid Claxton over Jordan.
Yeah, that shortened the rotation. I mean, the bench was 5 deep for the Bucks. But man, look at the guy. I mean, Mike James played 30 minutes. I mean,
Mike
obviously
James!
with Harden out, but all these,
Hey, John's got his Bucks hat on though. He's still carrying the flag.
Yeah. Well, it's not a series until you win. Someone wins on the
there you go.
Court. So I feel like there's no way Blake Griffin's going to do 18-4, and I'm confident that this team. I've seen this team all year long, and no way.
Hey,
Harden's out. No way.
I picked them in 6. I'm sticking with my prediction.
Yep.
If they lose tonight, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over. I'm just telling you. If they lose tonight,
of course,
because they should have gotten game 1. Yeah. And had they gotten game 1, it'd have put so much pressure on Kyrie and Durant to get it done.
Yeah.
Now they're like, hey, we lost Harden. Now we got Joe Harris hitting shots. We got guys playing out their mind. Let's go.
And the difference is they lost Harden in the first minute of the game.
Yes.
It's not like it was, at the end of the game.
Yes.
So they won this game without Harden for the entire game.
You know what? The problem with these coaches in the NBA, and I've said this even when I was a player, the problem with these coaches, they get in their mind, they get fixated on certain things. Like, okay, analytics says I should only play 6 players. And they stick to 6 players. Okay. I'm going to go against the guys I played all year long, the guys who helped us get here. I'm going to, like Bobby Portis, I'm going to forget about him. Bobby Portis is one of the biggest, acquisitions this year for any team. He's 6 man. He could have easily been right up there in the 6 man of the year award, okay? You don't play him. How many minutes did he play?
Bobby played 17 minutes.
17 minutes. Come on, man.
Well, don't you think at some point you might have to put Middleton on the bench? I'm just saying. He's
shooting like that, yeah. But where are they going to go? I mean,
you don't have
the starting lineup because they wanted PJ Tucker to guard Durant. That didn't work.
You don't have DiVincenzo, so that hurts you. Okay, so he doesn't have a lot of options, but what he does have is, again, he has 3 guys against their 2. Okay, you've got Kyrie and you got Durant. You've got Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis. They outnumber the 2.
So how do you defend them again?
So what I would do is, if I can neutralize one of them, it would be Kyrie Irving. And I would put Holiday on him. I would have him harass him, play him physical. I would have him post him up anytime he's on him, put him in the post, score on him in the post, and I would try to neutralize him. You're not going to stop Kevin Durant because he's a matchup nightmare, because sometimes he can slide to the 5, he can slide to the 4. So then you'd be being like, checkers, trying to match up. So he's going to be tough. But Kyrie's going to have the ball in his hands probably 95% of the time. So that's the guy you really want to neutralize. If you can neutralize him, you got a better chance to win. But if you let both of them get off, and then all of a sudden Joe Harris is now, he's a complimentary player. He's wide open for threes. And then Mike James comes off the bench. Here's this guy was playing overseas. He came from overseas. Yeah. They picked him up in the second half. Yeah. And I remember, because he came and played against us, against the Bulls. It was one of his first games. Yeah. And he was on a 10-day deal. And I had told Adam and me, I said, they're going to sign him for the rest of the year. And he said, you think? I go, yeah, he can play. I don't know if people remember him in Phoenix.
Right.
He was a starting point guard for Phoenix. And that's how Steve Nash knew him. Steve Nash was in the Phoenix organization and knew that Mike James, could play, and that's how they were able to get him. So you don't miss a lot with him coming off the bench. As far as a backup point guard, it's a good quality point guard.
Let's go back to the West. 7-game series between the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. That was pretty entertaining. Kawhi Leonard had 45 in Game 6 as they stayed alive with a win in Dallas. The road team won the first 6 games in that series. And then in Game 7, Luka was unstoppable in the first half, but he kind of ran out of gas because he had to carry the whole offense all by himself.
Let me tell you something. Have you ever seen the movie Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you what. I'm a Full Metal Jacket on Porzingis. Remember Pyle? Remember Pyle kept eating donuts and stuff and getting the whole. He was getting the whole platoon in trouble. Right. They had to do push-ups, sit-ups, all that stuff, and then he'd get to eat the donut. Okay, and then when he went to sleep, they piled bars of soap in the pillowcases, and while he was asleep, they held him down, kept his mouth closed, and they beat him on his stomach with soap bars. That's what I'm doing to Porzingis. When he's on the plane, we're flying back to Dallas from LA, and he's sleeping. He's sleeping in his chair like this. Okay, then I'm gonna sneak up. I'm gonna sneak up behind him. We're all gonna sneak up behind Porzingis, and we're gonna hold his mouth, and then we're just gonna beat him. We're gonna beat him with a pillowcase full of soap because the way he played. Come on, man! Like you're 7 foot. You're 7 foot. What? 3? 7'4"?
Yeah, 7'3".
Okay.
He was
No help for Luke at all. No sidekick. And the problem with him is he doesn't want to be a sidekick. He thinks he's the show.
Unicorn, right?
He thinks he's the man. And
he can't move anymore.
He's
though.
not the same guy that he was his first couple of years in New York before injury.
Yeah, 0 for 5 from 3.
Oh,
What are you doing?
Here, let me tell you what he did.
0
though.
for 5 from 3.
If I could have jumped through the TV, if I could have literally, it had been physically possible for me to dive through the TV and tackle him when he had the 2-on-1 break.
Oh, yeah.
He steals the ball. Great defensive play. Steals the ball. He's going down his 2-on-1 break. If he would have pitched the ball ahead, he got a dunk. He dribbles, and I saw it coming. Yeah. I'm like, no! Just like I did when Denzel Valentine shot that 40-footer.
Yeah.
No!
The worst shot in the
Okay, so he starts to, he's going to shoot a 3 on a 2-on-1 break. And if I could have jumped through the TV and y'all could have saw my body come flying out there and they said, what was that? And then I could go back to the TV and get back to my chair. No one knew it was me. I'd have tackled his ass.
You know, they should look at their analytics a little more closely because between like Dallas going 10 for 36 and Milwaukee, what their shooting was from 3, you might want to think about this whole analytics thing.
Analytics,
you know.
sucks.
And remember I remember we had BJ on. Remember he was talking about this. It blew his mind when guys would go down on a break,
Right?
Yeah,
pull up. It would just blow.
Yeah, like there was a game this year when Denver had a 4-on-1 break. And they could have easily had a dunk, and then they all went to the 3-point line. Nobody went to the basket, and then so Jamal Murray like looking like okay, no one's gonna go, so he jacked up a 3, and it's like, are you kidding me? 4-on-1?
Well, I mean, especially when you're having like how many possessions, 100%. You'll make that up, won't you? Take the bucket.
I'm not a big analytics fan. I'm not. I think it's really kind of like. You know, I watched that movie Moneyball.
Yeah.
With Brad Pitt as Billy Bean. Great movie. Okay. That works in baseball, in my opinion. To a certain level. It's worked for Oakland.
It did, and it's worked for other teams.
Okay, I'll say it works in the baseball because you're dealing with 162 games.
Yep.
You know, the percentages of certain players. I mean, I can see it working in baseball.
Yeah.
But basketball, the Billy Bean approach in basketball to me stinks because what it's done to the game is it's taking common sense out of the game. You're basically saying 3 is better than 2 no matter what the situation is. So just stop it at 3. We got to get up 35 threes. Okay, that's our goal every night. Teams are going in there with that mindset. We got to shoot 35 threes. If we shoot 35 threes, we got a chance to win the game. But hey. But is analytics telling you your team stinks at shooting threes?
Right.
That you're only getting, let's say you went 6 for 36, okay? So you got 18 points just from 3-pointers, okay? Where now you start looking at the other team. They only shot like 20-something threes, okay? They made 6. So now you cancel each other out at the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Where's the difference in the game now? They went to the free throw line 25 times. You went to the free throw line 5.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So now you could be down minus 15 just off of free throws.
Yep.
Then you throw in the second chance points. Okay?
Yeah.
Now you throw in like it's just small number. Plus 10 in second chance points. That's plus 25. You're down now. Fast break points figure into that. There's so many different things that factor into that cancels out analytics about the 3-point shot.
Well, don't they also put a higher value on free throws too? So that means getting back to your point, like if you can get to the paint and get a foul and go to the free throw line, I think they give that a higher rating, like shooting free throws. So why wouldn't you, if you're not a good 3-point shooting team, why wouldn't you do more of that?
Their thing is though, John, the analytics thing is that to drive it as far as you can to the basket, get the defense to shift, and then kick it.
Yeah.
To a 3-point shot. And then as they rotate, the second or third pass, because defenses have not changed even since the 90s. If you move the ball more than twice, you can get any shot you want. Any shot you want in the offensive set.
Yeah.
If you're patient. A lot of teams will come down, they'll just one jack and they'll jack it up. But the good teams like Golden State, if Curry's not involved in it, swing. The Curry's wide open on the other side. Bam, they got a wide open shot because they moved the ball 3 or 4 times. Yeah. If you're impatient when you're coming down, like Porzingis on the 2-on-1 break, that's impatient.
Yeah.
Common sense says, son, go to the basket. You can get a 3-point play on a foul, on a dunk. Yeah. So go get what's practical, common sense. Yeah. Because if you're only shooting, let's say he's shooting 30, I don't know what he's shooting from the 3-point line. I don't know. Okay. So let's just say he's 35%. He might be lower than that. Let's say he's 35%. The league average, this is where we need our stats. Southside, this is when we need you to be looking up these stats.
Okay. He's blaming Susie now.
Susie, don't let him come between us. This is what broke up the Beatles, Susie.
This was his highest percentage this year. He shot, second highest, 37%.
37%.
37%. Second highest for career.
For a career.
And then the postseason, get ready. You know what he shot in the postseason, this postseason? 29%.
Okay. Yeah. So that right there tells me you shouldn't be shooting threes in the postseason. 29%. You need to be going to the basket. We need to be trying to fight. If I'm Rick Carlisle, you're shooting 29%. This is a series we can't wait for you to get off. We can't wait for you to find your stroke. In the regular season, you got, 72 games. Okay. The numbers are going to play out a little bit, and it's going to even out because you got enough games to try to get your shot going, okay? But in the playoffs, you're shooting 29%, under 30%. We got to find ways as a coach to get you to be effective. Post up, pick and roll between you and Luka, make them make a decision because Luka's going to draw a lot of attention anyway. I mean, he drew 3 or 4 people.
8 for 27.
Yeah.
8 for 27.
What was Luka?
Give me a moment.
He's looking that up. Rick Carlisle is considered one of the better coaches in the league, but he's had no playoff success since they won the title in 2011. They've been eliminated in the first round every series since then, so not all that great.
Well, Dirk's not walking through that door anytime soon.
He was in the crowd yesterday.
40%. 40% in the playoffs.
Okay, so 40% in the playoffs?
Yep. You want to know what he did for the season?
So he can shoot threes. You shoot 40% or higher, you definitely a 3-point shooter.
Yeah, he was 35 during the regular season, so he went up.
Yes, he's a high volume shooter though.
Yep.
So he's gonna have nights where he gets 20 shots. Okay, I can live with
30 shots yesterday.
Yeah, I can live with Luka taking those shots.
17 for 30. That's above 50%.
Right. I can live with Luka taking 30 shots.
It's pretty obvious that they need another player.
Yeah, because Hardaway is really their third option.
He was awful yesterday. 1 for 9.
Yeah, he was terrible yesterday.
Yeah, and I mentioned Carlisle. He thought it was the 1970s because he went with the Twin Towers of Boban and Porzingis. Did you guys see the movie John Wick 3 where Boban was the hitman trying to kill him in the library? They should have given Boban a gun or a knife because that's the only way he was going to be able to guard anybody in that game.
His stats, he's 14 and 10.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, but
Boban in small doses.
Yeah, you got to be careful how you play him. But he played too many minutes.
Yeah, they were playing him like he was Shaq. And so that's you had too much Boban yesterday.
Right, a little bit too much.
A little bit too much Boban. Bring in Powell, Dwight Powell, and bring him in.
Played 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
how about Keebler? He only played 9 minutes.
Yeah, see,
he was one of their
those are guys
main
that were
guys
rotation
last year.
But see, when you get into Game 7. You kind of scrap all that.
Yeah.
I got to go with the guys I know. I'm going to go with these guys. And with Porzingis playing the way he did last night, what was his numbers, John?
He was 0 for 5 from 3, but he was 6 for 12 overall.
Well, yeah,
which
a
is
lot
6
of his
7.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff though was Boban hitting him underneath the basket off of screen rolls with Luka. He got about like 8 points just off dunks around the basket because Boban was able to find him. But here's the problem with the Boban and Porzingis matchup, because neither one of them really are defensive stoppers.
Yeah, they're wearing concrete sneakers.
So you're bringing 2 guys out there that are horrible defensive players, and that really hurt.
They shot 50%. The Clippers, and they only and talking about what you said. The Clippers had 27 points off their bench, so like they were running guys like Man and.
But here's
Bernard,
the thing, though, with that. Now here's the thing. Now Tyronn Lue just realized he had a bench. He didn't play him.
I saw his bench against the Bucks.
He didn't play him at all early in the series, and that's why Luka and them were able to get out and win those games. He all of a sudden, because I kept saying, why isn't Kennard playing? You pay him $64 million as a free agent from Detroit, and you don't play him. You're not playing man, who is these young rookies who, even though it's their first experience in the playoffs, they're going to come out with energy. Even if it's nervous energy, they're going to come out and play. And your team sometimes feeds off him. Man's a guy I would say, listen, here's what I'm going to do. You're going to play tonight. You're going to probably play about 15, 18 minutes. And here's what I need you to do. I need you to pressure the ball the whole time you're out there. I want you to be human deodorant. I want you to be in his armpits. I want you to be everywhere. Okay, just turn him over, make him have to work. And when you have kids like that, man, they respond well to that. And sometimes, like, Lou realized, like, hey, you know what? We need some shooters. I think, wait a minute, we got Luke Kennard. Damn, I didn't even know we had Luke Kennard on our team. Why didn't my coaches tell me, Luke, come on, baby, we need you. Game 7, come on. And what does he do? Walks out there and drains threes. Yeah. That was the turning point in the game, both him and Man.
All right, we got our guest standing by in the Sriracha Green Room. Yeah. So before we do that, quick predictions. We didn't talk about the 2 upcoming series in the West. Who's going to win the Clippers-Utah series, Stacey?
Utah.
Okay, how many games?
It may go 7, but I'm gonna go with Utah. Utah is just they're unbeatable at home. They're just unbeatable, and they shoot the ball extremely well. And that's the difference in the game right there. If they're making shots, and the Clippers don't really have consistent shooters, that's going to be the difference.
How about Denver-Phoenix?
Denver's just too much. First of all, you got the Joker. I mean, you can't match up with the Joker. The Joker, first of all, I'll tell you, man, if we were playing a pickup game and no one knew the Joker that he had any kind of talent, he would be the last person picked every single time. Yeah. No one would pick him. But you would never lose a game with a Joker on your team. Whenever you came back to that gym again, you're looking for the Joker. Hey, man, I want you on my team. Joker, come on, man. He'd be the first pick. And I just don't see them. They're playing extremely well. Michael Porter Jr. is making the 13 other teams that didn't pick him regret not picking him. He's going to be an all-star. He's a stud. He is really having a phenomenal playoffs right now, and he's shooting the ball extremely well.
We're going to take you back to the Bulls' glory years, the championship era, with our special guest, Al Vermeil, the longtime strength coach of the champion Chicago Bulls. That's coming up next on Gimme the Hot Sauce.
So Al, you were really ahead of your time as far as the technology of sports medicine is concerned. I mean, all the things how you used to record players and have data on players from when they came into the league to if the Bulls was interested in trading for a player, 8 years down the road, you still had data to compare when that player was acquired by the Bulls, or the Bulls were thinking about acquiring that Bulls. So talk a little bit about that and your data and the things that you used to do behind the scenes that no one really knows about.
Well, what I did when I was with the 49ers, I saw how they were testing guys at that time, and they had strings attached to them to accelerate, very crude. So I started, and my former partner, Don Chu, and I, the plyometric godfather of America, we started to build a timing device. And when I bought the business outright, moved to Chicago, I had a company there finish it. And so what I would do, for example, when you came in, I tested how you jump with no counter movement. Then you would go up and down the normal vertical, repeat, change direction and speed, and we test flexibility. And each year we added different things. We started to see people couldn't squat, so we started to see if they could squat, if they could do certain things. Well, what it gave us is the years later, when we went to get John Sally, I had all his test data, so I could look that back up. And I'm getting senile, so please bear with me. And the other young man that unfortunately passed away,
Bryson Daly.
He that wasn't his name when he was with the Bulls.
It was Brian Williams.
Brian Williams. He's a nice young man, and we tested him. Well, they hadn't deteriorated. Their numbers. They still could jump. They still could run. They could still do all those things. Conversely, we would look at guys in the draft. In one year, early years before you were there, we looked at a guy that ended up getting drafted number 1, and he'd had a leg injury. Well, I tested him, and I could see there was a significant difference from one leg to the other on how we looked and tested him. We left him alone, and then he got drafted by another team, and they paid him a lot of money relative to 1987. And the money wasn't of great value to him because he didn't turn out to be a player. And so we would look at trades. Every time we traded for somebody, I got to do the evaluation, and I presented my material. And then Jerry, who was extremely supportive of the program and of me, both Jerrys, they would look at that and then weigh the pros and cons, whether they would take someone. And then when we got someone, even if they took them and they weren't ready, then we would test them after they train, and we could show some improvement in them. So it was technology. Basically, it was a mat, and then we had a timing, what I'd call photo cells for speed and change of direction. So now that's all wireless. Everybody's got it. It's wireless. It's much more sophisticated, but the information is still the same. And one of the interesting things we did, we would have you guys jump, and I would look at how long you were on the ground relative to the height, and that's called the reactive strength index. And I started doing that when last year's with the 49ers. We didn't give it a name, and someone in Australia finally gave it a name in the early 90s. But what it did, it said, let's say if you had a regular vertical jump of 24 inches, and I had you repeat jump, and you jumped 24 inches, but let's say each jump you were on the ground 0.3 of a second, your score would be very poor. So what you were looking for, someone who could repeat jump close to the regular jump height, but keep the contact time down. And then we would train it. We would actually train not everybody, but certain guys that needed to jump quicker. So we would do things like that. And that's basically what we did. And I have all the data still. And I actually have all the video still. I kept all it. I've got all the books, the videos, everybody we tested. And it was always interesting to me, because coming from football, I was used to film, that we videoed everybody. And for a long time, the Bulls would bring these players in and they'd get them on the floor and not video them. And I never could quite, because your eyes deceive you. And everybody okay, how this guy compared to the, well, wait a minute. If you put it up there it's like golf swing. Here's your before and after. Unfortunately, my before and after looks the same as before. It may look worse. But anyway, that's what we did. And I really have to credit Jerry Krause, because at times he was under pressure from certain people, as you know, about the way I did things. And he and Jerry Reinsdorf stood behind. They knew what they wanted to get done. And that allowed us to have whatever contribution myself and Eric made, there was their support that really made the difference. And the other thing was, and people don't believe me, it was your guys' work ethic. People said, how'd you get those guys to buy in? How'd you get them? I said, first of all, they wanted to win. I said, I didn't come in there and give them one of my high school pregame talks. I said, that's a long season. That's not going to last. I said, professional athletes, and Bill Walsh taught me this. He actually taught me on a highlight film, because he was saying after we won the Super Bowl in '82, he said, there's been hardline coaches, there's been softline coaches. He said, what players look for, are you competent? Do you know what you're doing? And you guys realized that we were structured, that we put a lot of thought into your programs, and we worked with you individually, and you trusted us. And that's the great thing my brother Dick said. You trusted us, and you bought in. And so it wasn't like people are looking for some magic formula. I said, be competent, be trustworthy. The other thing is, don't let wins and losses affect you. You got to walk in that room, whether it's the off season, in season, whatever it is, you got to have a smile on your face. I see sometimes strength coaches, our coaches in general, if you allow the losses to affect you so much, the players pick up on that real quick. They pick up on your body language. And I worked for a guy at Kansas State. His name was Vince Gibson. And in fact, we beat Oklahoma 59-21 that year.
Okay, that's uncalled for, Al. Okay,
yeah,
you just got off topic. Okay, stay on topic.
Cheap shot. Anyway, Vince always said, when the coaches when the players get down, the coaches got to be up. And I don't think you ever remember us ever being in that.
Never.
You know, I the world's and you and I have experienced things outside of basketball that really make you understand what's really important in life. And so I just think the positive attitude. And even if players weren't working with me, I never shunned them. I never, I said, keep the lines of communication open. They're growing men. They are not. And I said, they don't do things if they don't believe in it. And that was, and I go back to you, though, the success we had. People said, you have a hard time coaching. I said, no, Stace, do this. Horace, I want you to do this. Your technique here. He said, they did it. Yeah. I said, the problem, you people going in and you treat them different. My brother Dick told me, he said, coaching at all levels is relative. And people say, I said, I was a high school coach in the NBA. I'm a high school football coach. I used the same person. I didn't change. You when you went to the NBA, you were still Stacey. And some people think they have to be more sophisticated or, whatever it may be. And I just think being yourself is the most important thing. And you guys really bought in. And what people don't realize, we used to go out to the forest preserves to run tempo.
Yeah.
And we never did long distance. We'd run for 20 seconds, walk 50 yards, run for 40 seconds, walk 50. We'd do a few reps of that. And then we walk 150. And the forest preserve, what people didn't realize, those surfaces weren't flat. And I think one of the things that may have helped lead to lesser injuries is everybody plays on these sanitary floors today. Now you go out there and it's a little uneven. People don't realize you're training your stability all the time. And plus it was outside. You weren't in that gym. And of course, then the great thing is we had the VSFO from the golf course.
Oh, the VSF.
God. Then we'd have dinner over at my house and you'd get to telling stories. We'd have more fun. That's the other thing.
The one thing I always remembered was especially after that loss to the Pistons, after my rookie year, when Scotty had the migraine headache, I thought that after that game, we all started coming in as a group because we used to come in 2 at a time, 3 at a time. We all started showing up together after that loss. And then that kind of propelled us, the team to winning championships. It brought us together. We trusted each other. We believed in each other. But, it wasn't the same before because you had little cliques, 2 guys over here, 3 guys over here. But after that loss, it kind of brought us together. And we worked out together. We showed up at the Berto Center together and we ran tempos together. It was really, really the changing of the culture.
Yes. And that is a credit to you guys. That is a direct credit. You all realized to take it to that next level, to beat the Pistons, you knew what you had to do. And you and BJ and all those guys and Will and Scott Williams, all those guys came in, and Pax and Billy and Pip. You realized what it took. And you're right. You came together. And that's the one thing people don't realize. The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. You all came in and worked. And I don't remember anybody coming in with an ulterior motive or a non-positive attitude to get the job done. That wasn't your guys' style. And I think you're right. It's not only what we did, it's how you went about it, and you built that camaraderie. And then, for those 3 years, that team was damn unbeatable.
Yeah, that's true. I always tell people that, when we're going through those championship years, we had the least amount of games missed as a whole. I mean, we had some older guys, Pax, we had Bill Cartwright, but we missed the least amount of games in those championship runs. And that's when we stayed healthy. And then I attribute it to the VSF program because all of us consistently working out, consistently getting our bodies strong for the battles that were ahead for us. And you and Eric were a big part of that. So shed light about that to our fans that are listening.
Well, I think it's like anything else. One of the first things studies have proven, and it intuitively. See, a lot of things I did, Stacey, were intuitive. because I'd been in the NFL, I'd coached at all levels. And if you lose your maximum strength, then you start to have patella tendonitis, you start to have joint problems. You kept a level of strength. I look at the NBA season like the Indianapolis 500. And those engines are finely tuned, and they got to stay tuned for that 500. Well, you were all finely tuned, and you came in at least twice a week and worked out. You maintained your strength. You didn't have everybody dropped some. But if you start low or baseline, that's all you have, now you're going to lose more. And the studies later on have proven, and I've got one, that some guys, you've heard the guy come in the weight room, I don't need to lift, I can jump this. They have great tendons. They can do this. Well, the problem when you rely on your tendons and you play in the NBA, pretty soon those tendons get overused because you don't have the strength and a maximal strength and power behind it, especially the maximal strength. So when you lose your maximum strength, you start to get tendon injuries. The other thing I contributed to, you remember that old circuit we used to do? The crabs on the floor?
Yep.
You took and put your bodies in different positions than the game exposed you to. And the other thing, that old circuit didn't look like much, but that was hard work.
Yeah.
And in that burst for 30 seconds and then rest for 30 and all those things, and then running the tempo, it was in the medicine ball. It was a combination. You remember the medicine ball? We do big circles. So your body was exposed to other movement patterns that you wouldn't see in everyday games. They may occur. So your bodies were what they would call stability today training, were exposed to all that. And today the buzzword is core. Well, every time you lifted a weight, your core strength. Every time you threw a medicine ball, your core strength. Every time you did that circuit, these things work, but they were working in a dynamic fashion. And I think the other thing is, when you have people that work that hard, I think there's a period during the season where some guys that didn't have that, well, I'm injured, I'm gonna, guys didn't, you guys, oh, absolutely, I can play through this. So I think it's a combination. I think Phil did a good job of managing. I think he did a good job. Chipper in the training room did a good job. So I think the coaches, I think it was a conglomeration of all of us working together. And that's what wins championships. And that's, as Jerry Krause said, I forget what, I can't think of the correct word. He got some heat for it. Organizations win. Well, he's really right, because it was the organization of all of us wanting to accomplish one goal. And I think that's what really makes the difference.
Thank you, Al. That's random.
Great to hear from Al Vermeil, Stacey and the Stinger handling that interview. I was at Bears practice, and while they were doing that, so they cut me out of that, so I got edited out. But back at covering the team in those days, really enjoyed talking with Al and his assistant Eric Helen. Great guys. And every time I see the Wisconsin basketball team playing the NCAA tournament, there's Eric on the bench doing a good job. He's a great guy.
Yeah, awesome. Eric was young. He was a young guy.
So
when I came in. He might have been a few years older than me, and really helped. I mean, really was instrumental, both him and Al, in those championship years, especially after we lost to the Pistons in that 89-90 season, and then we all committed to the VSF program, Vermeil Sports and Fitness. So we all committed to it, and that kind of was a turning point. Like, before we had our little cliques, like one or two people over here, three over here. We didn't work out as a team. But after that loss to Detroit, we were all committed to doing it together.
Right.
So we came in, we'd meet at like 10 o'clock in the morning. We do the, Vermeil Sports and Fitness, program. We go run tempos in the forest preserves. I mean, we'd have lunch at Al's house, or we go to Carson's Ribs that were over in Deerfield, which is one of my favorite places. But yeah, it brought us together, and then that was a turning point, and we started winning championships.
Yeah, and everybody bought in.
And this is the photo. He sent me this image.
Yeah, Ernie Keebler, because I gave him the nickname Ernie Keebler from the Keebler Elves. That was Al's nickname right there. So you saw little Ernie Keebler.
I got to tell you, two things that impressed me. his ability to recall and tell stories, his affection. He just loved the king.
I have that effect on a lot of people.
You do, but
I prefer to be on women though, not guys. But I prefer to be on women.
The other thing he gave us the Ernie Keebler, but he was able to produce that video, the clean and snatch.
Oh yeah,
that's making its way around.
Yes,
like it was literally within minutes. He sent that to me. That's impressive that he has that catalog. He has all the tapes and he references it. How if the Bulls brought a guy in that they didn't draft, he had the video. And then when they brought the guy in, because they all, that's how Krause worked. They would compare the video.
Who do you think would get more words in a conversation between him and his brother Dick Vermeil, the Super Bowl champion?
We talked about Dick
because they love to talk.
It would be Al would get more words.
I would get more.
Yeah, Al would get more.
Al was unfazed because I was going on. This guy's calling me Whispers because I couldn't. He's like, ask me questions.
Come on now.
I was like, Whispers, come on, man. Ask a question.
I'm just wondering where the saddle shoes came from. That's my mystery.
There it is.
Yeah, okay, buddy. Your comments are not going unnoticed. But
how about where those plates came from? He had two big wagon wheels on each side.
What? I just want to say, America, back in those days, I was super strong, and I'm still pretty super strong now. I got that old man strength.
Let me ask you a question. And they do the combine.
Thank you.
And a buddy of mine works for Mark Schlereth.
Yes.
And he's a lifter like I am. He's like, dude, you have no idea.
Jesus.
Lifter like I
am.
He's like, no, but he said
that's the ultimate endorsement.
Oh my God!
No, but I mean, I can throw wagon wheels around.
Okay, Popeye.
But it's a different type of. This guy Schlereth came in to the weight room one day.
He's unfazed. He just keeps going.
Well, because the story is the crazy strength.
He was
still benching at 45, 50 years old. He put the two big wagon wheels on, and my buddy Barry was like, dude, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was 25, boom, boom, boom. And I just wanted to ask the king, what was your record for 225 benching? Do you remember?
Let me tell you, I was in the 400-pound club, bro.
I know, but they always reference in the combine. How many times?
I could do 225, like 25 times easily.
That's crazy.
But it's
for a basketball player. I don't remember.
And we have longer arms. I mean, my arms are so super long that I got to push. Like you got a little alligator arm, so you like you're like a rabbit.
I'm also about three times less weight than you too.
No, we're just talking about.
Yeah, but I can lift more of my weight. I mean,
but I was back in the day when I was in my great shape. I was probably about 230. So I'm throwing up like some serious
400-pound club. You mean you bench 400 pounds?
Bench 400. Yes.
All right.
Guess how much BJ bench?
How much?
BJ did over like 325.
Yeah.
No way.
See, let me tell you a quick story.
That's
quick story. Quick story. Chip Schaefer, the trainer who used to be on the Bulls training staff. Yeah. He's there now. He's their sports and he's their fitness guy now. He does all the weight training and the rehabs and stuff. So we're in the championship series against the Lakers, the first championship. So we're staying in Marina Del Rey at the Ritz-Carlton. So Chip says, "Hey, after shoot around, we're gonna go work out." So we always used to tease Chip because Chip was a runner. So Chip would, be out running 10 miles, and he had those little girl shorts on, those little, the ones that you can see his pack and say, "Come on, buddy, put some clothes on."
I'm not looking.
Well, hey, buddy, you know what I'm talking about. The little track shorts.
You can hear it.
Yeah. So we always would tease him. So he's like, "Hey, you guys," he'd always say, like, "You guys want to make fun of somebody. I bet I can lift more than you." I'm like, dude, get out of here. Not anybody who wears these shorts, you cannot bench more than me and BJ. So we go down there. It's a challenge accepted. So we go in there, and Chip normally didn't lift weights. He just did like the bands. He'd do the bands and stuff. He was doing that kind of stuff. So there's no way in the world Chip could beat us. So me and BJ was like, all right, let's go. So he put the weight on. We started off with like 185. Like 3 times. He did it. I was impressed because I was like, a guy who wears those little girly shorts can throw up 185. I'm impressed. So we go to like 215. 3 of them. Boom, boom, boom. He does it easily. I'm like, wow, I'm impressed. He's pretty strong for this little dude that wears these little track shorts. So we go up to 230. 230. Boom, boom, 3. He hammers him out. I'm looking at BJ like, man, we might be in some trouble here. This dude's pretty strong. So we get up to like 275, BJ drops out. He's like, I'm not hurting my shoulder. I got to play tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. So he drops out. So I'm like, there's no way in the world Chip's going to do 275. So I do 275. Blah, blah, blah. Here comes Chip. Easy 275. And I'm sitting there like, okay, because I struggled on the third one. I was tired. My chest was burning. I was tired. So Chip does it easily. And I'm like, this dude is pretty freaking strong. This is impressive because he's not that big. Chip's probably like 5'8", but he was in little wiry dude. So we got like 305. All right, this is where I'm gonna drop him off now. This is where now you in the
Thanks for playing our game.
Yeah. Now you're in the deep end, buddy, with the orca whale, and we're now no longer playing in the fishbowl. So we go up 305. Wow, I'm a little slower now. Okay, I get it up. Here comes Chip.
No way.
No struggle at all. Okay, now I'm nervous because I'm saying, okay, where are we gonna go to now? Oh, well, let's go 325. Oh. I'm like, okay. I'm in the 400-pound club, so I'm not really worried. But I've been practicing. I just got out of practice. I'm tired. He was just sitting over there, so he's fresh. So I'm like, okay, good. He's no way in the world he's going to do 325. Pride has got me pushing the weight up. Pride only. So I get it up. And my elbows started to burn. I'm like, oh, I'm done. So Chip gets up there. 325. I'm done. I said because the next wave was going to be like 340, and I wasn't going to let him beat me. So I threw in the towel right there. Good job, Chip. Hey, man, you're stronger than what I thought. And I was like, because if I would have let him beat me and BJ saw that, it'd have been talked on.
It sounds like he did, though.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
No, he didn't. Because I got up 325. I got up 325.
It sounds like you struggled, though.
Let me just tell you something, buddy. You know what? It was tied. We called it a tie because I stopped at 325, and then he really wanted to stop.
We got to get Chip on the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Chip on the show. I'm
absolutely.
gonna get him on the show. I'm gonna get him on the show. But I was amazed at his strength. I could not believe
those
that
bands. Maybe it was those bands.
I just could not believe a guy his size and a guy who's just a runner. I mean, seriously, when you see a guy, running, he runs 10 miles a day and he's just got a runner's body, runs little marathons.
Don't sleep on those
I could
runners.
not believe how strong Chip Schaefer was. And that really made me feel good. So if we ever got into a fight on the bench, I knew Chip could handle his business. Chip had throwing up he probably throw up 375 easily. Yeah. No, but we had the baddest team in the league. We got our trainer can fight, our players can fight. We're not losing.
Tex was packing.
and Johnny Bach was packing. Johnny Bach had the 22 Derringer.
That's it.
He had the Derringer in his boot. Okay? So we had it all covered. So you wasn't messing with the Bulls, baby.
No.
Great stories from the championship era of the Bulls. Hey, it was a great sports weekend. Let's talk about that next on Rapid Fire. Let's do that next on Give Me the Hot Sauce.
Give me the gun.
You want the gun?
I want the gun.
Give you the gun. Hold on, I'm gonna give you the gun. You ready?
Let's hope he's
We'll get him in the next segment.
Oh, he missed the moment.
It is time for Rapid Fire here on Gimme the Hot Sauce. And I know that Stinger's got the rifles ready. Yeah, we love that. Of course, we keep track of everything going on in the world of sports with our good partners at Bubble Up. Bubble Up, the cloud reimagined, the new way to visually organize any kind of content all in one place. So make sure you download the Bubble Up app today and get yourself organized. We've been having a lot of fun watching the women's softball tournament, the College World Series going on right now. And the Oklahoma Sooners, we are recording this on Monday afternoon. And right now, Oklahoma is playing James Madison for a spot in the College World Series championship. Stacey's going to be a little bit distracted in this segment, I think.
Listen, anytime a Sooner team is playing right now, I have to stop doing what I'm doing. But you know what? I'm a team player right now, so I'm doing my little podcast right now. So the Sooner women are going to have to wait.
John, you want to update the score for us?
Yeah, well, no, I don't. But what I do want to do is talk about the amazing athleticism of the girl that pitches for James Madison, Alexander, that dive she made to tag out the runner at home plate, the photo bombing of coaches.
Yeah, that's been
the
fun.
Perfect game.
The girl shotgunning a bottle of water behind the coach interview.
To me,
that was fun.
I do a huge softball event. It's out in California every year. I've been doing it for 11 years. It's called Perfect Premier Girls Fast Pitch. It is Susan Southside's involved in it. It is unbelievable fun. Great softball. The best of the best go out there. And I don't know. For an entertainment value, this is as good as it. The game moves along, and it's a lot of fun.
You said your daughters played, right?
Both my daughters played. They went. Yeah, they played in high school. They played travel ball. They played in Oklahoma. King. Stacey was Susan Southside was down playing at that stadium, right?
Yeah, I bought a cowboy hat in Oklahoma.
Not an Oklahoma State cowboy hat, just a regular cowboy hat.
You went too far, Susan. Wow. You went too far. You don't
buy
have
boots,
to buy
right?
a cowboy hat to fit in Oklahoma. You just went
That
too
just
far.
makes you all hat, no cattle.
Oh my God, this guy here.
All right,
Welcome to the party there.
I'm gonna kill the guns here on Whispers.
Yes.
Let's move on to the professional ranks. The Chicago White Sox still
Sit
in
down,
first
girl.
place.
Oh, I'm sorry.
4-game
Sorry,
lead in the
America.
American League Central
Just
over the
struck
Cleveland
somebody out.
Indians. They showed off their brand new alternate uniforms, their city edition.
Oh, yes.
The South Side, the pinstripe, nice chai on the cap. Those are sweet, aren't they?
I know.
Hey,
show it,
I'm gonna
though.
tell you something. They are sweet.
They're sweeter. I just have a knockoff on. They're sweeter.
Yeah,
than
she
my
got that
knockoff.
from. That's the same thing as
Did you
Mackle
guys see
Jordan.
Tony La Russa wearing his hat
Jordan.
sideways during the game?
Yeah.
Trying to be cool?
Those are nice. I'd like to get one.
Here,
of
I'll
those.
show you. I'll share the screen.
Show the authentic jersey,
right there.
and then go
Sweet.
back to Susan's knockoff.
Oh, no.
All right, look at that. That is sweet.
That's sweet.
That
That's
they look
nice.
like a bunch of hitmen right there. Now
They
go back to
do.
Susan's.
No.
I want to see Susan's. Somebody sold Susan this right here. It's the same person.
That's out of the back of the
who's-
car.
Look, there it is. Look.
Yeah.
Southside. She bought that at a swap meet, and it's the same one that sold. They got the Michael Jordan knockoff
got a couple
jerseys.
blankets with it, too.
Mackle Jordans, NyQuil Jordans.
Yeah,
they got all those knockoff jerseys over there.
Hey, don't worry,
you know.
King. I went on the official website and I got her at Southside.
Thank you.
Wow,
That's
that's
nice.
nice.
Now, let me tell you something, America.
Yep.
That means something right there because John Walsh does not like to spend money. I'm telling you, his arms, and when it's time to pay for something, it's like he's a T-Rex. He can't reach to get his pockets. He's like
Means he
this.
did something wrong last weekend.
Well, there's also one thing you know about me. I'm a traditional when it comes to uniforms, and
That's true.
That's
King's
true.
been wearing a red Yankee hat. Now he's wearing a blue Bulls hat. And I just want people to know that's it right there. This hasn't changed since Ted Williams back in the day, Babe Ruth, and I just want to go. This is from the 2004. Right, World Series. I know I'm taking a little bit of time, but I just wanted to share a couple of photos. Here I am on the field, 200004 stage
God,
managing.
you look like a creep.
Right?
You have a mustache and a beard?
Yeah, I did. Here I am in the Red Sox dugout.
Look at him.
In
He
the
had to
dugout.
register. He had to register before he went to the stadium.
Look at him. You can tell. Hey, look at that picture,
you seen
America.
this man?
Have you seen this man? He's on a milk carton.
Now-
See, he's not supposed to be in there.
No.
He's Bobby Valentine.
That's right.
On the post
Here's
office
me with a
wall.
couple of mass holes right here.
Oh, there you go.
Back it up so we can see your face.
Again, that's mass holes.
The mass holes.
Not that. Oh, asshole.
See, just hanging out with Ben for Game 1, the World Series. So,
Okay, all right.
traditionalist.
One of the highlights of John.
Every time we do the show, it's like show and tell. He's got like a cargo of stuff he brings in,
Got to keep it moving.
You know,
Visual.
and
It's a
America,
visual
and,
meaning.
and America, since we're on YouTube now, as you can see, John has switched hats like 4 times
Yeah.
now. So
this is
now
a
he's
good
got
one.
his
This is
Boston,
fitted.
he's got his Boston. But you know
Fitted
what?
one.
I'm a person that likes style and color, and
Yeah.
I like the mats. So today I'm wearing a navy blue shirt with the blue Bulls hat because I rep the Bulls no matter what. So if I would have had a white one on, I would have had a white with red and black. I like the mats. He likes to talk about my Yankees. So I'm a Yankees fan. Okay, America. I love the Sox, but I'm a Yankees fan.
They're not red though. They don't. Wear
I don't
red.
care, John.
Hey, tell the story about the White Sox. They're going to send you. Yeah.
Special love for the White Sox.
Yeah.
We do have.
They're sending me. They're sending me
nice,
the
too.
city
City
edition,
edition, nice.
fitted hat from New Era. I appreciate
Beautiful.
the White Sox taking care of me. They always take care of me. Cubs, you used to take care of me. Now you take care. After you win the World Series, you don't know me anymore. I mean, I sang the 7th inning stretch out there twice.
You gotta pick.
I got the pitch out there threw the first pitch out, threw nothing but gas.
I know Mark's trying to wrap us real quick, but
go ahead.
this was the ultimate. I was in Fenway for Game 1 and 2. This is before Game 2.
Mark, wrap it up.
What
This
year was
screen.
this?
This
What
is
year was this?
2004.
Oh, thank you for coming out, ladies and gentlemen.
Patriots were getting ready to win 22 consecutive games.
Oh my God.
They had lobster in the press box. I had lobster.
So you were eating lobster.
I was eating lobster. I'm watching the Patriots win a record 22 games in a row before Game 2 of the World Series.
Okay, well,
All the people that are
2004.
listening to the podcast
Yeah,
without seeing the photos are going, what in the hell are those guys
We're
doing?
on YouTube.
Yeah,
Go
one of
to
these
YouTube.
days, he's gonna actually bring a bad photo up here, like him taking a shower, with a shower cap on, and we don't want to see that. Okay, so I need to proofread these pictures from here on out, John.
Well, we want to congratulate Tony La Russa on winning another game over the weekend that took him to number 2 on the all-time list behind Connie Mack. He passed John McGraw, number 2 on the all-time list. So even though Tony looked a little bit odd wearing his hat sideways and trying to fit in with the
He's a
young kids.
player.
Yeah.
He's a player. Don't be a player hater, Mark. Okay?
Congratulations
Way
to Tony
go.
La Russa, number 2 all-time.
Yes.
Hey, we got a friend of the program standing by, so let's take a quick time out and bring him in here as we talk with a friend of Stacey's next on Gimme the Hot Sauce.
Sriracha. Give me the hot sauce.
Final segment of Gimme the Hot Sauce. This is where we dish some dirt. It's called On the Download. We're going to take you behind the scenes of the podcast. We just spent about a half hour trying to get Stacey's good buddy, Master Luke 76, if you've seen him on Twitter. And you know what? He went down just like the Knicks did. He's like he's like the world's #1 Knicks fan. And he was talking trash when they won that first game of the series against Atlanta, and then they went down in 4 straight, and we couldn't get his technical stuff in,
No, he wasn't prepared. Yeah. All that trash talking. Again, his Knicks went 1 series longer than the Bulls did. And I just talked to him this morning. I say, hey, look, you're a friend of the program. We're going to get you on the show.
Good guy.
He was so excited, and he couldn't even get his internet working or his mic working or his
it's audio
speaker.
Visual,
Yeah.
Master
Lighting.
Luke.
Yeah. He needs some help.
And he was in a darkened room like it was witness protection too.
Oh, was it Liberty Mutual? He was shooting a live Liberty Mutual commercial in one of his rooms. I'm like, man, you got any light in there? Turn the light on. Are you hiding from the IRS?
One fan for the Knicks that did join our show, remember Mark Seguro from Staten Island. He did touch base with me. He said that was the most fun for him. The Knicks since 94, 99, that stretch. So
well, they got a lot of cap space, so we'll see what they're able to do in the offseason.
Yeah, a lot of people climb out of the gutter and they started winning. They're all jumping back on the bandwagon. Go New York, go! Why me?
Yeah, it was great environment at the Garden.
It was
full of crowds.
Marv came back because of that.
Yeah,
he went and did a game, and I'm inside scoop here because I know you like the inside stories, Marv.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, Turner had everybody in Atlanta. And they had everybody set up for the whole playoff run. Well, apparently Marv went to the Garden, loved it so much that now they're changing their everybody's now back on the road, just because of Marv. So Marv made everybody now. They had all these. They rented out.
There'll be
hotels.
better broadcasts with the announcers on site.
No doubt, but it's amazing. It's good for Marv and good for because
he's a legend. Too. He's
yeah.
retiring,
right? But I mean, like you said, instead of calling games from Atlanta, let's get people there on the court and the camera crews. And
I agree. I mean, because it brings much more to the broadcast being there.
We had that shot of him the other night when we were recording with him and Reggie Miller, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome. It's Marv and the Garden behind him.
That's what you need. There's no question about it. And all the sports, the broadcast is looking to get back on site. Stacey, the old saying that you'll do anything for your kids. I understand you made a purchase that didn't exactly live up to the billing last night.
$50
down the
drain. I could have went to the casino.
Yeah.
I could have done a lot of different things. I could have
got a nice dinner.
Could have went to dinner. Could have used that $50 to buy me a nice piece of steak.
Nice piece of.
That's what my boy Timmy whispers. So I was disappointed. So my kids, they normally come over. I only see my kids when it's time for UFC fights. Free food.
Yeah, he had a party going on.
Yeah.
I called. He had people.
Yeah. They only come over when they was free food or UFC fights.
Pay-per-view.
Or pay-per-view. So they called me up. They said, "Hey, Dad, are you going to get the fight? Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul?" I said, "Absolutely not.
Yeah,
it's trash. I'm not going to spend. I'm not going to spend 50, 60 bucks
That's
on
not
that
what you
fight."
told me.
Okay. So anyway, before I was really interrupted. He said, well, come on, my youngest son, come on, Dad, buy it. We'll come over. We'll have pizza. I was like, well, who's buying the pizza?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, you are. Like, so I'm gonna host a party, buy this ridiculous fight, and
don't forget the drinks.
Exactly, exactly. So I buy the fight.
Yeah.
Worst fight I've ever seen in my life. Listen, I'm a big boxing fan. I'm a big, combat sport fan. I'm a big, more MMA fan. But Floyd Mayweather is on a money grab right now.
Oh, yeah. That's his nickname.
I mean, I'm a big Floyd Mayweather fan when he was boxing. And to me, I just feel like you're tarnishing your legacy by doing these kind of events for the money. You don't look the same. You don't box the same. You're an older boxer now. And this kid, Logan Paul, was so crazy. This was his second professional fight. He lost to another YouTuber. Okay. Now you want to challenge Floyd Mayweather, who he arguably considers himself the greatest boxer of all time. TBE, the best ever. Okay. Now, you would think that he would have walked in that ring and beat the crap out of this kid, and just because of his pure boxing skills alone. The guy went 8 rounds with him. Didn't knock him down one time.
Yeah.
Didn't really hurt the kid. And, a lot of people say, well, Logan Paul was bigger than Floyd. A boxer should be able to beat a non-boxer.
8 real rounds, or were they fake?
It was to me, it was like, they were fake rounds.
Yeah.
I thought Floyd Mayweather was just in there clowning, and I mean, I saw him fight Conor McGregor. That was a real fight because Conor was trying to win.
Yeah.
And so he really had to fight to beat Conor McGregor. But this was a joke. This is just like, basically fighting some guy off the street and say, hey, come on in the ring. Let's go a few rounds, that kind of thing.
Show.
Yeah, and I think he got $25 million for doing it.
You got your money.
Yeah.
Did you buy the Tyson Roy Jones thing?
No, I know. And the only reason why I didn't buy that one, it wasn't because by choice. It was because Comcast was having a hard time getting it because my kids wanted that fight.
Of course they did, yeah.
And I was so glad that Comcast couldn't work it out where for some reason in our area it didn't come in clearly. So I didn't have to pay for it, which
I think
was awesome.
he called me in a panic. I remember that.
Yeah.
A 911 panic trying to help him out with the cable. I was like his cable guy.
Well, I might have to go over to Stacey's house to watch these fights because we don't get them at my house.
It's your house,
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've got 2 quick stories. Reason why I don't buy fights. Number one, we bought I don't know if you remember George Foreman made his comeback against Jerry Cooney, and a guy loved Cooney. He loved Foreman too, but he's big. So he bought the fight. It was like $50 back in like '90, and he gets a pizza delivered, and he turns and gets a pizza, and he takes a bite. And George Foreman gave this guy one of his, roundhouse and knocked out Cooney, and that was it. That was like the second round. Number 2, we bought the Tyson Holyfield fight. The first round was the great. This was at your brother's greatest fight ever. The first round. Second round, he bit his ear. That was it. And we were left going, wow, we got ripped off.
Well, it was good drama there. You got your money's worth on that.
Yeah. Listen.
Well, what could have been, but
the bad ones were that when Tyson was knocking out those bums in less than a minute. So the buildup came.
I like those
down,
too. I'd rather have that than him bite some guy in the ear.
Listen, I like the drama. I mean, I'll pay for a Tyson fight in his prime, even if it only lasted 30 seconds. I think that was just one of those things you just like, oh, how fast is he going to beat this guy?
Yeah.
That's what you were thinking
Michael
when you were buying.
Spinks.
He was scared though. That dude looked like a deer in headlights. He looked like what I would look like if I was in the ring with Tyson and he's a professional fighter.
Yeah.
He literally was like, boo. Woo! He fell down. Give him a standing 8 count. He got a standing. He really just said boo, but.
With those black shoes, no socks on.
And no robe, no robe coming on.
Torn off T-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm buying it. But when you bite a guy's ear, that's it.
But you didn't know he was going to bite the ear.
No, I know.
You assumed that it was going to be a great fight.
That was the beginning of the end of Mike Tyson.
Yeah, you assumed it was going to be a great fight, and that's why you bought it. Because if Mike Tyson had not gone to prison, that would have been a better fight. Because, when you go to prison, he was gone for 2 years, and he was never the same after that. Never the same.
Muhammad Ali had, 5 years? He couldn't fight. He came back and won.
But you know what? Muhammad Ali behind the scenes was working out, though. He was doing boxing stuff during that whole
Yeah,
time.
but
But
you
he
go-
couldn't fight, though. But he was doing a lot
You're in
of
prison. Can't you work out in prison?
No, not necessarily. Not like a boxer. You don't have the access to, speed bags and heavy bags.
It's tough to get the road work in, too.
Exactly. You're not going too far in a prison. Oh, I think I'm going to go run 2 feet today. How many times can you run 2 feet that will equal 10 miles?
Yeah.
You run, touch the wall, back, touch the wall.
Hey, I remember the movie The Fighter. Wasn't it Dickie Eblu? He was running around the yard, getting ready.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, it's still tough, though, John. Yeah.
I'm coming to your house to watch.
Yeah, you know what, Susan, you're more than welcome because
Ding dong.
because your husband, he's not, he doesn't splurge, and I don't want to call him a cheapskate.
Hey, I heard I'm getting a New Jersey, so.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
you're getting a New Jersey because we put pressure on him. He's getting it because because when I said that you had the knockoff, you had the Thomas
Here you
Frank
go,
jersey.
Stacey. Sooners.
Oh, the Sooners are back, baby.
They got a triple.
Lead off
Oh, triple.
Yeah,
Get
nice.
fired up. Look at her. She getting fired up. Hey, America, the Sooners are back, baby. We're down 1, 4th inning. Yes. Nicole Mendez, baby. Woo! Look at this. We finally got a hit off the James
Give me the hot
Madison stuff.
sauce.
And this
Sriracha.
is free, Stacey.
Yes, this is free.
Yeah.
Yes, this is free. This is a Hustle and Flow
That look like
studio. We got a 70-inch
We
monitor
pirated
here.
it from the neighbors.
Yeah, we got
It's not
got
really
a
free.
look at this
Wow,
girl.
look
She
at
got
that girl.
wheels.
Stole that feed.
Woo!
She didn't really take it. That was a direct. See that route around second to third, man?
Yeah, that's OU.
That's nice.
We practice that. We practice that. There's a short turn.
Yeah.
You don't get the wide turn. You
No,
get that
no
short
wide
turn,
turn
hit the
there.
inside corner. Boom, you're gone.
Well, we got to watch the rest of the game. So I think it's about time that Tim tells us a Skinamax story or something. Or did you pay too much for that, or
Yeah.
special feature
Yeah.
films,
Yeah.
or what? You got any story for
Mark
us?
is going for it.
I'll have to save story about the time I went to the AVN Awards, but back in
What are the AVN Awards?
Yes.
I don't know if
I
I want to
don't know.
know.
I can't really talk about that right now.
Yes,
Sure
you
you
can
can.
talk about it. There you go. It's the podcast.
Yeah.
Adult video? Come
Yeah.
on. You've never
Adult
watched it?
Video Network.
Yeah, we're talking about purchases that maybe you didn't get your
Well,
full value
America may not know what AVN is.
on. Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't see. Southside didn't know.
Wow.
See, so I didn't know either.
Oh,
I'm America. I don't watch shows like that.
I'm not buying that.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that.
Pretty sure he's been there too.
Hey, he's trying to keep a happy home, buddy. He's trying to break
Don't
up.
be telling stories
Don't be
out of
telling
school.
stories on me, buddy.
Yeah, when you were talking about Tyson Spinks, I was out at ASU, bought $75 tickets. I think that's like $92 in today's money. And it's supposed to be this
He's got a scale in his wallet.
supposed to be like a full
Convertible
buffet
scale.
and drinks and everything for
Yeah.
the fight and all this stuff. I got there about a minute and a half late.
And that
they,
was over.
They wouldn't even let us in. Couldn't get a beer or anything. I had to turn around and walk out as a college student. All I could do was grab an ugly pillow off a couch, and that's what I took. Walked out with
Wow.
that. I was so mad about it. But yeah,
Wow.
didn't get a single draft beer, nothing.
Glory,
Didn't see the
glory
fight.
days for
See
whispers.
the same fight. That's what I'm talking
Well,
about.
and
right there.
here's another one. When Tyson got
Don't
beat
be
by
late.
Buster Douglas.
That
Yeah, okay.
That was
No.
a great fight, though.
that was a great fight.
It was a great fight, but I didn't get to see it. Okay, because I had bought tickets for it. I was going to watch it in a bar with my friends
was
in
in
Norman,
Japan.
Oklahoma.
That was in Japan.
Yes, it was over NBA All-Star break, and so I went home for the All-Star break, and I had got tickets to go watch it. I paid like $50, and that's when I was making the money. So I NCAA, if you're not listening, don't listen. So I took some of my old teammates out. And I bought like probably $250 worth of tickets, so we all could go watch the Tyson fight. Well, we got caught up in another bar, and.
Priorities, buddy.
Yeah, it was
Got
some,
it,
so.
priorities.
But Tyson was fighting Douglas, and it was supposed to be like the odds of Buster Douglas winning was nothing. So I thought it was going to be another first round knockout. So I was like, oh, who cares, So I go back to the hotel, and we're getting dressed to go to another bar. So the
Change of clothes?
Yeah, change clothes. So the guy at the desk, the receptionist, is like, hey, did y'all hear the big upset? And so we're talking like, what are you talking about? Mike Tyson got knocked out in Tokyo.
Oh, you missed
Oh,
it.
you missed it.
And I was like, what? I was like, no way. He goes, yeah, this dude, Buster Douglas or Buster Davis. They didn't even know the
Yeah,
guy's
who
name.
was the guy? Yeah.
Yeah. And so he said, knocked him out cold.
Yeah.
And I was like, back then it was hard to get replays. Back in those, it was like early, like mid 90s,
Yeah.
You didn't have all the replays,
Well, especially
social
boxing.
media.
Boxing doesn't, yeah.
You had to wait
Yeah.
to get that. HBO would show it like a week later, the fight.
Yeah.
And I could not believe that he got knocked out.
He fought the perfect fight. I watched that fight because it was in my bar. We played that fight over and over, along with the Tyson montage of knockouts. It's great. That's a tremendous fight.
Great fight.
He fought the perfect fight. Came in, got him with the uppercut. And
You know what was one of his first appearances back in the States when he got done with that fight? He was at the United Center for a Bulls game.
Buster Douglas.
Yeah.
I remember
He
that.
was courtside there, and they sent me over to interview him, and it was like he still didn't believe it happened.
Yeah.
I actually beat the guy.
yeah. Oh, he was unbeatable. I mean, like you said, you were already defeated by the time he walked into the ring.
And he had lost like a certain number of fights in a row.
Yeah.
No one gave him a chance to win.
Yeah.
Tyson didn't train well.
Yeah, he didn't train at all.
And here's the thing about Tyson during that fight was that they were ill prepared in case he got in trouble. Like they didn't have an end swell when his eyes swole up, and the little thing they had to put ice in a little a plastic glove to try to keep the
Yeah,
swelling
because most
down.
of his fights were like
They were
over by the third round.
Yeah. So they were not prepared for this at all.
Yeah.
The trainer was the trainer had no equipment to get his eye. He couldn't even see. And then the guy, Buster Douglas, fought the perfect fight.
He did.
Fought the perfect fight.
did.
When fight from distance, hit him with the jab, and then when he gets close, smother him.
Yep.
Smother him. Don't let him come in and body you up and beat you up. When he gets close to you, just grab him and hold him. By the third or fourth round, if Tyson hasn't trained like he normally trains, he got tired and got gassed out. And then that jab started just eating him up. Blah, blah, blah. Kind of looked like Chad Ochocinco. Chad Ochocinco was like Tyson. He had like Buster Douglas. He had a nice jab in the first 3 rounds. In the 4th round, he caught a hook, and he almost went night-night. He almost was a Nate Robinson meme.
Yeah, it was an uppercut. He got him with an uppercut. Buster Douglas came in.
Buster Douglas.
Used to come in like this, left his chin exposed, and bam, pop.
That's how that almost looked like how my brother knocked my dad out. My dad knocked my brother out. It was like that Buster Douglas punch.
Check last week's episode of Gimme the Hot Sauce.
Check it out.
Classic stories.
Don't
of
ever
James
challenge
King.
your father. Anybody out there that's in their teenage years, do not challenge your father. They got old man strength. Leave them alone. Do what they tell you to do. Be a good son.
So check that out. That was episode 31. We're bringing 32 to a close. And what did we learn today? We learned that Stinger likes fitted hats. He has alligator arms. and Susie's going to get an authentic Southside City
Stop
edition
walking around
jersey.
with fake material.
And if you want to hear Whisper's story about his exploits, go to Gimme the Hot Sauce After Dark.
Come on in. Come on in.
The special. Oh, and the
It's tied up,
Sooners.
baby. The Tigers is
Sooners
tied up.
is tied up. We brought him some good luck.
Oh, yeah. Wild pitch, baby. Wild pitch, baby. The Sooners are back.
So you can catch, hopefully, Oklahoma wins this game and moves on to the championship series. But that's going to bring down the curtain on this edition of Gimme the Hot Sauce, episode 32. We had a lot of fun. We want to thank Al Vermeil, telling stories about the championship Bulls years. And Master Luke, we love you. We'll try to get you on later.
Get some new equipment, Master Luke. Get some new equipment. Stop buying cheap. Get cheated.
All right, Stacey's got to watch the game. So bring down the curtain, Stace.
Give me the hot sauce. Drive home safely. Beep, beep. Sooners all the way, baby. Sooners all the way.
Wild pitch.